In the depths of a forest, a group of disciples was surrounded by several tall, dark, and foul-smelling men. Their grins were filled with perverse intent. Across from them, a girl yelled, "We're here for the Qingyuan sect trial. Aren't you going too far? Aren't you afraid of our sect's retaliation?" The men, who were from the Jingguang sect, sneered. "We're robbing you, of course it's unfair. Heavenly treasures belong to those strong enough to take them. You just happened to cross our path during the trial, blame your bad luck. Brothers, attack." As soon as he spoke, the Jingguang sect members lunged forward. The scene shifted. Some random cultivator was wandering the forest, muttering to himself, "This trial is dangerous. I'd better avoid others if I want to survive." Before he could finish, he stumbled upon the scene of the Jingguang sect's ambush. He froze, staring blankly at the chaos ahead. Then, a mechanical voice rang in his mind. Ding! Task options. Task 1. Rescue the captured disciples of Qingyuan sect. Defeat the villains. Reward: low-grade elixir. Task 2. Kneel and beg the villains to spare the disciples. Reward: mid-grade elixir. Task 3. Pretend you saw nothing and quietly walk away. Reward: high-grade elixir. He sighed deeply. This damn system is trying to get me killed. A year ago, he had awakened this so-called God-tier choice system. At first, it followed logic: the harder the task, the better the reward. But something went wrong. Now, the easier the task, the greater the reward. To get the top-tier prizes, he had to go against his conscience. Seeing him approach, the captured disciples of Qingyuan sect cheered. "Look, we're saved. That's our senior disciple chairman, Lambda. Let's see if Jingguang sect dares to keep acting so arrogantly now. Senior brother, please teach them a lesson." The Jingguang sect members grew uneasy. What? Senior disciple chairman? If that's really him, we might not stand a chance. Be ready to retreat. The girl looked excited. Senior brother Lambda, please help us. Teach Jingguang sect a good lesson. But before she could finish, Lambda turned and bolted in the opposite direction. He must need the toilet or something. One disciple mumbled. Senior brother, you're going the wrong way. We're over here, another shouted. Lambda coughed awkwardly and waved his hands. Senior brother? Chairman? Who are you talking about? How old is this senior brother? How big is his house? You must have mistaken me for someone else. I'm just a humble traveler named Gu Duan. Farewell, perhaps fate will let us meet again. With that, he fled into the wood. Everyone was speechless. The disciples and the girl were furious. Lambda, are you even part of the Qingyuan sect anymore? I've never seen anyone so shameless. Aren't you afraid of punishment from the sect leader? But their complaints didn't stop Lambda from committing to task 3. My fellow disciples, I'm sorry, he muttered internally. At most, the Jingguang sect will rob you, they won't take your lives. If I interfere, I lose the high-grade elixir. The girl shouted again. There have been rumors that the senior disciple chairman is useless, that he only got his position through connections. I thought it was gossip. But now I know it's true. The Jingguang sect members grinned. So this so-called senior disciple has never fought before? What a joke. If that's the case, you can't just walk away after seeing this. Brothers, catch him. Don't let him escape. And just like that, Lambda was surrounded. Inside, he was screaming, my high-grade elixir. Gone. But outside, he respectfully clasped his hands. Fellow cultivators, we all live in the same world. Why must we fight and kill? Let's show some humanity. Who knows, we might meet again someday. We're all part of the same community. Could you perhaps show some respect to this senior disciple chairman? He then bowed with a perfect 160 degrees angle, like he was reading from a textbook. I beg you, great brothers. Could you spare our lives? At this point, it seemed he would only get the mid-grade elixir. The Jingguang sect members exchanged glances, then burst into laughter. Ha ha ha! What a coward! The Qingyuan sect's leader must have been blind to name someone like you the senior disciple. Chairman, one of the Qingyuan sect disciples shouted, their faces burning with humiliation. As cultivators aspiring toward the heavenly Tao, how can you be so cowardly? If we survive today, we'll report everything to the sect leader and have your position revoked. Even if we die, we'd rather fall in battle than live with this disgrace. You've brought shame to all 3,000 disciples of Qingyuan sect. We'll have them all piss on your doorstep. Even the girl chimed in furiously, Chairman, you've embarrassed our entire sect. The heavens must be blind to have let someone like you lead us. The Jingguang sect cultivators sneered. Humph. Blame yourselves for putting your faith in this joke of a chairman. Brothers, kill them all. The girl quickly shifted into combat mode. Channeling her spiritual energy, she shouted, Everyone! Be careful, stay sharp. Meanwhile, Lambda's face darkened like the bottom of a scorched pot. TCH, not even the mid-grade elixir now, he muttered. Then don't blame me for being rude. Suddenly, he raised his hand and roared, Lightning, come! To everyone's astonishment, lightning actually descended from the sky. His entire aura changed. Electricity danced across his body as he struck a dramatic, awe-inspiring pose. With a single palm strike, a lightning dragon burst forth. Just as a Jingguang sect member was closing in on the girl, the dragon struck, roasting him into charcoal. The girl's eyes widened with shock. What just happened? Did the senior disciple chairman really do that? Everyone stood frozen. Hadn't he just been called useless? How did he suddenly become this terrifying? Watching Lambda's unbelievable power, the Jingguang sect members trembled in fear. Who are you, really? I've told you already, Lambda said coolly. I'm the senior disciple chairman of Qingyuan sect. Are you deaf? One of the Jingguang members broke into a cold sweat and analyzed the situation like a scholar. That strike. Its force was immense. It must have been at least 10 million newtons. This guy's cultivation must have reached the earth-shaking realm. We don't stand a chance. He immediately threw his weapon down and bowed. My friend, you're absolutely right, we all live in this world together. Why fight and kill? Let's sit down, talk peacefully. Before he could finish, Lambda's fist met his face and launched him into the trees. You ruined my chance at a high-grade elixir, Lambda growled. Think I'll let you off easy? And so, he beat them all to a pulp. Ding. Congratulations. You have defeated the Jingguang sect villains. Task 1 completed. Reward, low-grade elixir. Looking at the tiny bottle in his hand, Lambda's face scrunched like a monkey chewing sour fruit. Well, it's better than nothing. He popped it into his mouth with a dramatic sob. Boo-hoo. A low-grade elixir is still an elixir. Might as well eat it. Turning around, he saw the Qingyuan sect disciples rushing toward him with excitement. Congratulations, senior brother chairman. Your strength is terrifying. Why did you pretend to be weak earlier? We almost mistook you for a useless fool. Lambda struck a pose and began spouting vague, deep-sounding philosophy. A truly powerful person must possess a heart that embraces all things. You don't need to knock others down to prove your worth. Feeling the intensity of his aura, the disciples were moved to tears. As expected of our chairman, they cried. Such profound wisdom. What's that radiant glow behind his back? It's dazzling. They looked at him with reverence, as if he were a living saint. Falling to their knees, they chanted, Senior brother is truly amazing. Lambda sighed inwardly. 4 years, just to earn rewards from the system, I had to act like a coward. People mocked me behind my back. Who would have thought I'd be respected like this one day? Being trusted doesn't feel too bad. Raising his hand, he spoke grandly. Regarding today's events, I hope that when you all return to the sect, the disciples instantly understood. Ah! Senior brother is so humble. He wants to do good deeds without leaving a name. We get it, we'll keep your super-secret skills to ourselves. But Lambda corrected them with a grin. No. You must spread the word far and wide. Tell everyone. Book every major media outlet. Make my greatness known. Report it to the sect leader and post an announcement for 3 straight days. And don't forget the kitchen staff. I heard them badmouthing me last week. We'll need to clean their ears with this news. The crowd twitched, a little overwhelmed by his requests. I've suffered too much, Lambda sighed. Everyone thinks I'm weak. I had to take low-tier rewards, swallow insults, and ruin my reputation just to survive. But starting today, I'm changing everything. I'm officially rebranding my image. Restore the dignity of our senior disciple chairman. Remember it well, my dear brothers and sisters. We understand, big brother? Good. Now, quickly return to the sect and spread the word. Lambda turned around and strode off like a hero departing after a great battle. At the same time, far above in the sky, a luxurious cloud-stepping carriage drifted through the heavens. From within, a sweet-looking girl peeked through the curtain, curiosity twinkling in her eyes. So, that's the senior disciple chairman of Qingyuan sect? The one set to marry into our sect? She whispered, tilting her head. He looks kind of ordinary. Meanwhile, in the forest below, a disheveled figure stirred. It was a Jingguang sect member, the one Lambda had blasted away earlier. Regaining consciousness, he didn't focus on recovery. Instead, he slipped into a dramatic memory sequence. Because of my poor background, he muttered, I, Tu Lai, swore to rise above 10,000 others. From a young age, I endured endless pain just to join Jingguang's sect. He recalled collapsing on his first day, completely spent. As he lay on the ground, the sect leader of Jingguang's sect had approached, a shiny bald man with an equally shiny aura. Looking at the reflection on the man's head, Tu Lai had found his resolve. His head. It's so radiant. I must follow this man to become stronger. Thus, he devoted himself to the sect's brutal philosophy, committing evil deeds in pursuit of strength. No wind, no rain, not even justice could stop him. His senior brothers admired him. He was, as he proudly stated, truly professional. Finally, through his own grinding effort, he grew hair and became an elite of the sect. But now I've been defeated like a dog by a nobody from Qingyuan sect. How could this happen? I, Tu Lai, am the #1 genius in this entire region. He clenched his teeth. Lambda, just wait. I'll defeat you one day. Without wasting another moment, he limped toward a hidden cave, the one the sect leader had once mentioned. This is where the sect's strongest body-tempering method lies, beheading 100 inner demons. The moment he entered the cave, countless eerie fanatics with twisted faces rushed toward him. If I don't die here, I'll come back for revenge. Scene shift, back at Qingyuan sect, excitement rippled through the air. Someone was posting announcements all over the mountain. The senior disciple chairman Lambda bravely stood up for the sect, fighting against the fearsome Jingguang sect despite the danger. Is this for real? Someone muttered. Lambda? That coward? No way. We've all seen how he's been for years. At that moment, deep in the ancestral hall behind the mountain, Lambda entered solemnly. Master, you called for me. Suddenly, a fat old man rushed out and pulled him into a big, emotional bear hug. After all these years, you finally did something, the elder cried. This is the first time you've actually stood up for yourself since you joined the sect. Your master's heart, it's overwhelmed. The old man began pacing back and forth in joy. For more than 20 years, in order to squeeze rewards from the system, Lambda had hidden in the shadows, avoiding fights, enduring humiliation, and endlessly cultivating. Most people in the sect had long given up on him. But not his master. Lighting 3 sticks of incense, the old man turned toward the altar and declared to the ancestors, Senior disciple chairman Lambda of Qingyuan sect is no coward. He has proven himself. After 10 years, our sect finally has a true successor. He turned back toward Lambda, his eyes misty. My dear disciple, the year you were brought to Qingyuan by that person. When I first laid eyes on you, you were a mess. I mean, spiritually gifted, brimming with innate energy. That's why I made you chairman. Lambda raised an eyebrow. I still remember, the old man continued, when we went down the mountain to test your strength against that fat bear. I turned around and you were gone. During competitions with other sects, he sighed, I cheered for you until I lost my voice. But you surrendered before the fights even started. He suddenly got misty-eyed again. People said you got your position through backdoor means, but I knew your strength was real. You just hadn't shown it. He looked Lambda dead in the eyes. But now you're no longer afraid. You're finally ready to fight. Lambda, with a blade of grass dangling from his lips, listened in silence. And that's not all, his master grinned wide. Today is a double celebration. The leader of the Shangyao sect is coming. Our two sects will finally solidify the marriage alliance. Let's see who dares to question Qingyuan sect's power now. Hearing the words marriage alliance, Lambda nearly choked on the blade of grass. His face paled. Marriage? What marriage? Let me remind you, the master said, beaming. 20 years ago, we arranged a union between our sect's chairman and Shangyao sect's holy maiden. The two of you are to be wed, sealing our alliance. Shangyao sect is one of the top-tier sects in the region. It's only because of your special identity, and the fact that person gifted you to us, that this opportunity even exists. Logically speaking, they should have arrived at our sect 3 days ago, Lambda's master muttered, eyes narrowed. This delay. I fear they're secretly observing you. Standing beside him, the old man gave a few more reminders. These next few days be on your best behavior. Make sure to present yourself well. As Lambda nodded absent-mindedly, something caught his eye. A glowing notice had just appeared on his system board. Mission 1. Behave earnestly. Win the favor of Shangyao sect's holy maiden. Reward. Cultivation +1 level. Mission 2. Behave normally. Do not attract the holy maiden's attention, prolonging the engagement. Reward. Cultivation +2 levels. Lambda blinked. Wait. I get more for not impressing her. But then came the final mission, Mission 3. Behave terribly. Infuriate the holy maiden. Completely destroy the marriage alliance. Reward. Cultivation +3 levels. Those words burned into Lambda's brain. Infuriate the holy maiden. Destroy the alliance. Cultivation +3 levels. His eyes gleamed with renewed purpose. Breaking off this marriage nets me 3 whole cultivation levels? A highly profitable deal. The more he thought about it, the more convinced he became. His system rarely gave out rewards, certainly not for free. Marrying into Shangyao sect was tempting. But how could that compare to a triple cultivation breakthrough? Besides, he hadn't even seen the holy maiden yet. What if she was uglier than that toad spirit from the valley? He clenched his fists with determination. Leveling up is more reliable. Unfortunately, his expression was completely misread by his master. Ah, my good disciple must be nervous, he chuckled. Don't worry, your master will be cheering for you from the main hall. Then, casually, he dropped a bombshell. By the way, I'll be heading out with the Grand Elders for a few days. During that time, the sect will be in your care. Lambda froze. Huh! Before he could protest, the old man narrowed his eyes and added seriously, as sect chairman, you must learn to manage the sect sooner or later. Left with no choice, Lambda sighed. Understood. They said their farewells, and the master departed. Meanwhile, within Shangyao sect, an old man stood beside his disciple in a bamboo grove, muttering with a scowl, Why hasn't our sect leader arrived yet? Just then, a gentle voice echoed through a voice transmission talisman. I'm already here. The sect leader appeared behind them like a ghost, his face kind and unreadable. After a brief greeting, he asked bluntly, So? Is the chairman of Qingyuan's sect worthy of our holy maiden? The elder knelt down at once. Sect leader. We've been observing him for 3 days now. I must report truthfully, the situation does not look promising. He went on, his tone grim. Lambda, Qingyuan sect's chairman, is a coward. He has no influence in his sect. His behavior is eccentric. His cultivation isn't even considered outstanding. Then came the real blow. Rumor has it he hasn't even practiced Qingyuan sect's 8 desolate heavenly decisions. He's been cultivating low-grade techniques for years. Clearly, his aptitude is lacking. I beg the sect leader to reconsider. If we go through with this marriage, it could damage the Shangyao bloodline. Suddenly, Lambda's master appeared. How dare you pass judgment without even meeting him? He growled, pointing a shaking finger. Don't underestimate our chairman. But the elder refused to back down. Oh, I do look down on him. He doesn't even know the 8 desolate heavenly decisions. He doesn't need to. Lambda's master snapped. Besides, your precious disciple wouldn't survive a single day in the 9 darknesses. Their verbal battle turned physical as the 2 old men began to brawl, flinging punches and throwing insults. Old 7. Resorting to violence because you can't win with words. How dare you? Who's afraid of whom? Let's fight it out. The Shangyao sect leader watched silently, unfazed by the chaos. Finally, he stepped forward and raised his voice. Enough. The chessboard is set. Let the game begin. Thus began the 9 darknesses selection, a deadly trial meant to test the worth of Qingyuan sect's members. People from multiple sects arrived at Qingyuan Mountain, summoned by Shangyao sect's declaration. Lambda's master laughed in satisfaction. Haha. Let's see who dares underestimate us now. Meanwhile, back at Qingyuan sect, Lambda was stirring up just as much trouble on his own. A junior sister ran up, holding a stack of flyers. Senior brother chairman. The flyers have been distributed. Now everyone in the sect knows of your heroic deeds. Excellent. This should boost my reputation. But before he could bask in the praise, someone snatched the flyer from her hands. A sour voice followed. Rescuing disciples and angering Jingguang's sect? Ha! Truly laughable. Zong, one of the inner sect's top disciples, stepped forward and glared at Lambda with contempt. Around them, the surrounding disciples began whispering. Isn't that senior brother Zong? The top genius of our sect. What's he doing here? Looks like there's tension with senior brother chairman. All eyes shifted to the 2 figures, Lambda dressed in blue, Zong clad in a gold-trimmed yellow robe. The atmosphere grew electric. This doesn't look good. Zong is furious. Don't forget, Zong was also qualified to be our chairman. If not for Lambda's connections, he'd have gotten the title for sure. No wonder he's bitter. The crowd of melon-eating disciples buzzed with anticipation, eager for drama. Lambda's expression remained cool. Do you have a problem, Zong? Zong snapped his fan open and replied with a smirk. Of course I do. He stepped closer, his gold-embroidered robe glimmering under the sun. You? A leader? A man who rose on connections alone? It's a miracle you don't wet yourself during public speeches. With a flick, Zong snapped his fan shut and turned to junior sister Manhua, voice dripping with sarcasm. Tell me, how many benefits did Lambda offer to get you to spread these so-called deeds of heroism? Manhua and several disciples quickly protested. It's not like that. Senior brother chairman really did save us. Zong narrowed his eyes. Seeing their loyalty, he suddenly raised his voice for all to hear. If Lambda claims he defeated the disciples of Jingguang's sect, then let him prove it. Chairman, do you dare accept my challenge? At that moment, Lambda's God-tier choice system chimed in with a new mission. A challenge from Zong detected. Choice 1. Accept the challenge and defeat Zong. Reward 1x golden injury medicine. Choice 2. Accept and fight to a draw. Reward 1x blood essence pill. Choice 3. Refuse the challenge and give Zong a loving hug reward. 1x spirit gathering pill. Lambda's eyes sparkled. A spirit gathering pill? That's a way better reward. He raised a hand to his mouth, trying to hide a smile. I'm not greedy for power or pills. I just like hugs. Seeing his relaxed grin, Zong scoffed. So, you really dare accept, huh? Lambda didn't answer. He simply stepped forward and placed a hand on Zong's shoulder. The crowd held its breath. He's gonna fight. Let's go, Senior Brother Chairman. But instead of launching an attack, Lambda pulled Zong into a firm hug. Everyone froze. Zong's body stiffened in complete shock. His arms hung limp at his sides. What is this? Someone finally asked. Is this the good show we were promised? Zong stammered, his face flushing red. What the hell are you doing? But Lambda's face remained composed. His tone was soft, even gentle. Zong, we're all brothers here. Why fight and shed blood? Are you, perhaps, just lacking some love? He patted Zong on the back, leaning in again. Let the chairman give you another hug. Zong pushed him away, flustered and red-faced. Get away from me, Lambda. You're done for today. I'll strip you of that chairman title. Before things could escalate further, a disciple ran in, breathless. Senior Brother Zong. Urgent news, something big has happened. Zong's anger paused as the disciple blurted out. There are cultivators gathering outside the mountain gate. They claim they're here to destroy Qingyuan's sect. The crowd burst into shouts. What? Who dares challenge us? Could it be a top-tier sect trying to seize our land? Is this real? Zong quickly regained his composure. Don't panic. Notify the elders immediately. But Lambda raised a hand calmly and said, the sect leader and elders have already left the mountain. There's no backup. Zong's soul nearly jumped out of his body. What? Realizing the seriousness of the threat, he shouted, Everyone! Gather at the mountain gate. Prepare to meet the enemy. Just then, the God-tier choice system issued another mission. A crisis detected, mountain gate under siege mission. Yell something cowardly to avoid battle reward. 1x secret cultivation art. Lambda sighed. Another one of these missions. With a dramatic turn, he shouted to the crowd. Wait! Don't go meet the enemy. I think it's safer to run away. The entire sect turned to look at him with contempt. Ugh! Is this our chairman? Now we see his true colors. Ignore him. Let's go defend the gate. Lambda fell silent, letting the others charge off to battle while he lingered behind, waiting to secretly claim his reward. Far away, deep within a cold cavern, mutated beast corpses lay strewn across the floor. Blood dripped silently. In the center of it all, golden veins coiled across a body like living flame. Lambda stood there, eyes closed. The golden patterned sacred body. Finally completed. After all that bloodshed. I've cultivated it successfully. Let me know when you're ready for part 6 or want a quick recap. Lambda clenched his fists as he stared into the distance. Qingyuan's sect will win. I'll crush you all under my feet. You'll never dare lift your heads again. Tuli, who had been silently waiting at the edge of the cave, drew his sword and left, hatred burning in his eyes. Feel my terrifying power. Far away, in front of a towering mountain range, the cultivators of various sects had already gathered. They whispered among themselves, So this is Qingyuan's sect? Doesn't look like much. A man riding a massive ox scoffed. They look weak. Don't let a single one escape. Soon, all the disciples of Qingyuan's sect assembled at the mountain gate to meet the enemy. But when they saw the intruders clearly, they were stunned. These aren't small fry. It's the Wan Wu sect. A mid-tier sect. Panic spread. Why would a middle-tier sect target us? Are we going to be wiped out? But some disciples clenched their teeth and stood firm. Even if we die, we can't let them take our sect. While the others readied for battle, Lambda stood alone at the side, and the familiar sound of the God-tier choice system echoed in his mind. Crisis. Wan Wu Sect Invasion Detected. A Choice 1. Lead Qingyun Disciples to defeat Wan Wu Sect. Reward 1x Low-grade weapon. A Choice 2. Prevent Qingyun Sect from being destroyed. Reward 1x medium-grade weapon. A Choice 3. Lead the disciples in retreat. Reward 1x God-tier weapon. Lambda's eyes locked onto the third reward. A God-tier weapon? He muttered, heart pounding. Even most sects would kill for that. But looking out at the battlefield, he sighed. Facing a middle-tier sect. Do we really stand a chance? He analyzed the situation carefully. Even if I wanted to pick the first option, we'd likely lose. And without the sect leader or elders present, total destruction is guaranteed. Decision made, Lambda shouted. Everyone, let's evacuate while we still can. That's the only way to survive. But the disciples didn't listen. They continued charging toward the enemy. Retreat? What about the sect? Are we supposed to just watch it be destroyed? We're Qingyun disciples. We won't run. Their fervor only grew. Even if we die, we'll die fighting. Lambda was left speechless. He muttered, You all. I simply can't win. But they were already ready with a rebuttal. Of course you can't win. We're relying on senior brother Zong. He should have been chairman in the first place. Even before clashing with an external threat, internal conflict brewed. Lambda stared at his blood-boiling comrades and cursed under his breath, Damn it all. Just then, Zong made his grand entrance, stepping forward with confidence. Enough chatter. Let me speak. Fearing further misunderstanding, Wang Hua rushed forward. Fellow disciples, you've misunderstood senior brother Lambda. His strength is, Zong laughed mockingly. Don't talk nonsense. Everyone knows how weak Lambda is. Lambda, focusing on the bigger picture, stepped forward. Zong, if we lose the sect, it can be rebuilt. But if we all die, who will rebuild it? Zong's voice turned icy. Spare me the speeches. You're the chairman, yet you only talk about running. You disgrace the dignity of our sect. The two stood like water and fire, glaring at one another. Finally, Zong raised his hand toward the crowd. Lambda, I won't stop you. If you want to flee, then go. But Qingyun sect doesn't need a shameless coward like you. He summoned his flying sword and roared, Disciples! Prepare to fight with me! Cheers erupted. The disciples rallied behind Zong, ready to face death head-on. Wang Hua turned to Lambda, worried. Senior brother Lambda, is it true? Can't you defeat them? Lambda answered honestly, Among their ranks are powerful experts. Even I have only a 50% chance of victory. Wang Hua clenched her fists, her eyes filled with fear. Then what should we do? If you can't win, won't the sect be annihilated? Lambda looked up at the clouds, the weight of the situation pressing heavily on him. It's difficult, he muttered. Far above, among the clouds, a resentful voice echoed. Ugh! This mission set by the Holy Sun is such a headache. Down below, within Wan Wu Sect's ranks, a disciple named Lian whispered to his comrade. Wang Quan, is all this really just because the Holy Sun likes the Holy Maiden of Shuangek sect? Wang Quan rolled his eyes. Unfortunately, yes. And now we're the ones who have to suffer for it. The Holy Son of the Wan Wu sect frowned, casting a sharp glance toward his two bickering juniors. Enough. Shut your mouths. Beside him, Dao Qingfeng stood, arms folded as he announced calmly, It's almost time. Let's begin. High atop Bamboo Peak, the elders and masters of the Shuangjiao sect silently watched the unfolding battle below. One of them stroked his beard thoughtfully. This move is quite bold. Mobilizing such a large force just to test Qingyun sect's chairman? Seated nearby, Elder Seven scoffed and rolled his eyes. Shows how little you know. The wife of Wan Wu sect's leader is from Shuangjiao sect. Calling in a few people like this is no trouble at all. The elder sneered. This old man never misses a chance to jab with that sharp tongue of his. But the Shuangjiao sect leader merely smiled and remarked, Even so, their disciples' performance seems somewhat acceptable so far. The white-bearded master responded, "Don't jump to conclusions yet. Let's keep watching. Lambda might surprise you." Meanwhile, Zong stepped forward on behalf of Qingyun's sect, facing the imposing forces of Wan Wu. "Disciples of Wan Wu's sect, why have you come here? If there's a grievance, we can talk it out. Why resort to violence?" From above, Dao Qingfeng looked down coldly. "Surrender now and join Wan Wu's sect. Do that and we might spare your lives." Jiogong, standing beside Zong, immediately unsheathed his sword. "Impossible! Qingyun's sect will never bow." More disciples stood beside him in defiance. Dao Qingfeng narrowed his eyes and raised his hand. "Then we won't be polite any longer." With his signal, the Wan Wu disciples charged down from the skies. "What do you have to resist us with?" they mocked. Zong's sword slashed through the first attacker. "Qingyun disciples, fight to the death. Protect our sect." The air filled with roars and clashing steel. Overhead, Dao Qingfeng turned to his subordinate. "Wang Quan, your turn." Wang Quan smirked and summoned a dark green longsword. "Just what I needed. My hands were itching for a warm-up." He descended swiftly, sword gleaming. Zong met him head-on, but Wang Quan's speed and power quickly pushed him back. Zong countered with the 8 desolate kin style, but it wasn't enough. Wang Quan chuckled, "Not bad. But show me your real strength." With a shout, his sword surged with energy. A flash of lightning pierced Zong's shield spell, wounding him. He stumbled, blood dripping from his lip. "Damn it! I won't accept this." But as he raised his head, Wang Quan's blade was already pointed at his throat. "Do you accept now?" Behind Wang Quan loomed a terrifying shadow, an ancient red demon's visage. Zong's face went pale. "Hao, how do you have such power?" Wang Quan laughed mockingly. "Novices, all of you. I haven't even started using my real strength." Across the battlefield, the rest of the Qingyun disciples were being beaten back one by one. Jiogong, confused and panicked, stumbled as a kick from Wang Quan forced him to his knees. "What a joke! You Qingyun disciples are trash. How did your sect even survive this long?" Zong, battered and breathless, realized the horrifying truth. Qingyun's sect stood no chance. They were utterly outmatched. Wang Quan raised his staff and sneered. "Surrender, kid. I might let you live. If not..." His smile turned cruel. "You'll all die here today." Cries of pain and desperation rang across the battlefield. Zong clenched his fists, trembling. I surrender." Wang Quan threw his head back and laughed loudly. "Ha ha! What happened to all that bravado just now? This is your mighty senior brother? Qingyun's sect really is garbage." He turned to the rest. "Anyone else want to surrender?" Trembling arms began to rise, one after another. "I surrender." "Me too. I just want peace." But amidst the chaos, a beam of light cut across the sky. One disciple still refused to yield. "I won't surrender." Wang Quan barely glanced his way, unimpressed. "Still want to struggle, huh? Trash." He waved his hand. "Destroy him." Before Lambda could speak, it was too late. Blades pierced the resisting disciple. His scream echoed through the air. The morale of Qingyun's sect collapsed completely. The disciples began to kneel, sobbing. "We've lost. We've truly lost. We couldn't protect our sect. Let's just accept our fate." Atop Bamboo Peak, Elder 7 grinned smugly. "Your Qingyun sect has lost. Completely." He turned to the old master. "Sect leader, anything to say now? If this is all your sect can manage, I fear it won't survive much longer." But the master only stroked his beard calmly, smiling. "There's still one person left." Elder 7 narrowed his eyes. "You mean Lambda? Huh. What could he possibly do? He's been trying to run away since the beginning." The old man ignored the mockery and continued with a mysterious grin. "You see, our Qingyun sect has one internal rule. Elder 7, watching from above, furrowed his brows in confusion. What's going on down there? The confrontation between Lambda and Wang Quan had just begun. Wang Quan stood alone in the devastated battlefield, voice arrogant and sharp. Is there still some coward hiding? If you're afraid of death, kneel and surrender now. His words cut through the air like a blade. Lambda's face twisted with anger, but he remained silent. Nearby, Wang Hua, bruised and trembling, could barely stand. Chairman, you were right. We can't win. Let's just surrender. Wang Quan pointed his spear directly at her. Chairman, tell them to surrender. But Lambda slowly straightened his back, his gaze locking with Wang Quan's. There were times when I really wanted to run away, Lambda admitted. Run somewhere no one could find me. He walked past his stunned junior brothers, who called out anxiously, Chairman. Senior brother Lambda don't, but Lambda didn't stop. Wouldn't it be nice to cultivate in peace? He mused aloud. The rewards of peace are valuable too. The disciples stared in disbelief. Why's the chairman talking about rewards now? Has he gone mad? Is he just stalling? Even Wang Quan sneered. Putting on a show won't save you. But Lambda ignored the mockery. His voice rang with calm resolve. You keep insulting our sect, killing our disciples. Sometimes even without rewards. His clenched fists glowed as inner energy surged through his body. Even if it costs me my life, I must protect them. Seeing him prepare to fight, Wang Hua tried to stop him. Senior brother, what are you doing? We're no match for them. Step aside, Lambda said gently. Wang Hua's voice trembled. Chairman, senior brother. But Lambda had already taken his stance. He charged. Wang Quan's eyes lit up with killing intent. You seek death? Then watch my spear. Become a dragon. Golden lightning burst forth from Lambda's palm. Wang Quan scoffed, until the thunder crashed down like a storm, neutralizing his spear's energy in an instant. What technique is this? Wang Quan cried out. A blinding surge of lightning engulfed him, striking like divine punishment. By the time it faded, Wang Quan lay gasping on the ground, defeated. The Qingyun Sect disciples were frozen in shock. Then someone shouted, We've won! The chairman defeated Wang Quan. Chairman Lam is the strongest. Even senior brother Zong was no match for him. Tears of awe and relief welled in their eyes. But victory was short-lived. Up above, Dao Qingfeng narrowed his eyes. He hadn't expected Qingyun Sect's chairman to be this formidable. With a wave of his hand, he barked, Lin, take care of him. Yes. Lin answered coldly, leading a squad down from the sky. Eliminate that arrogant brat. Lambda stood still, like a tree in a storm. His voice low and steady. Maybe I've been too quiet all these years. So quiet people forgot. He turned to the crowd, voice rising. Many wonder how I became the chairman. I haven't done anything grand. I was just a miscellaneous disciple, with no accomplishments to my name. Rumors said I relied on connections. He raised his voice even higher, for all of Qingyun Sect to hear. But all of you have forgotten one thing. There is one rule in our Qingyun Sect that not even the sect leader or the elders can change. His words echoed across the battlefield. Up on Bamboo Peak, Elder 7 furrowed his brows again. What's this Tongtabis he mentioned? The white-bearded master calmly replied, That's the forbidden ground of our sect. He continued, When Lambda was 13, he wandered into Tongtabis. According to sect law, anyone who survives and walks out of that place automatically qualifies to be an elder, or even sect leader. He asked to take up the position 7 years later. That's how Qingyun Sect suddenly gained a chairman from nowhere. Elder 7 sneered. And after all these years, hasn't he only cultivated low-level immortal techniques? Unless those can beat high-tier arts, what's the point? The white-bearded master just smiled. Perhaps. But why don't you keep watching? Back on the battlefield, dark clouds began to swirl in the sky. Thunder rumbled violently. What's that sound? It's Lambda. He stood with his hands outstretched, summoning a terrifying technique. A massive running thunder formation crackled to life. The Wan Wu Sect cultivators panicked. Tribulation lightning? One by one, the weaker cultivators fell, struck down screaming. Even Lin's expression shifted as a golden dragon-shaped thunder force surged toward him. He gritted his teeth and blocked, switching from attack to defense. This thunder technique. It's powerful. Lin's stance remained firm, but his heart grew wary. Still, if this is all he's got, he's nothing special. He saw Lambda maintaining the same stance, which made him even more confident. This little prince is underestimating his opponent, still trying to use the same move? It's already useless against me. What Lien didn't anticipate was that, despite it being the same running thunder technique, this time it terrified him. When he looked up, he saw the thunder tribulation descending in a straight column from the heavens, its majesty vastly amplified. Lien broke out in a cold sweat, exclaiming, What kind of immortal technique is this? Even the elder who had been watching was stunned to see such a supreme technique. Old Seventh denied it, shaking his head. No, that's just a low-grade running thunder technique. How can this be happening? The sect leader of Shan Shao sect also expressed disbelief. It's unimaginable. Can a basic running thunder technique truly be cultivated to such a powerful level? Everyone turned to Lambda's master. He squinted proudly and nodded. Yes, it's exactly that, a low-level running thunder technique. He recounted, that was my question too when Lambda first joined the sect. I had prepared many immortal techniques for him. At the beginning, he didn't show much potential, so I allowed him to pick his own cultivation method. There were top-tier, mid-tier, and low-tier techniques available. For some unknown reason, he chose the lowest-tier one. Then, out of nowhere, he really cried and shouted something about a dog system deceiving him. I didn't understand a word of it back then. But from that day forward, he trained day and night. He went from not being able to produce even a spark of lightning to summoning a tiny bolt. Then, eventually, a thunderous roar came from the sky. One day, thunderclouds covered the heavens. The void itself cracked. It was like a natural disaster. I rushed out to see what was happening and saw Lambda had pushed the basic running thunder technique to the level of a divine skill. His talent defied logic. From that point on, I offered him numerous top-tier techniques. But each time, he would cry and refuse. I have no idea what's wrong with that child. Still, no one could deny his incredible gift. Don't worry, I've found an excellent match for your holy maiden of the Shan Shao sect. A majestic image of Lambda appeared in their minds, standing tall, thunder surrounding him, a massive dragon looming behind. It was an awe-inspiring display of raw aptitude. Meanwhile, in the distant forests of the Kingwan sect, Tu Lai had arrived. He paused and looked ahead. It was Kingwan City. He was determined to kill Lambda himself. But just then, a loud explosion in the sky stole his attention. Tu Lai muttered, "What's going on? The sky's been gloomy for a while. I didn't bring an umbrella. What if I swell up from the rain?" But then he quickly remembered his purpose. "Forget it. I'm here for revenge. Today, Lambda will pay." Just as he was about to reach his destination, he parted the final leaves in his path and stopped in shock. His smile vanished as he gazed at the descending dragon and muttered in fear, "What? What is this?" Rubbing his eyes and looking again, he blinked. "Am I hallucinating?" He couldn't comprehend the sight of Lambda controlling the very thunder tribulation itself. How can someone like him be this powerful? The duel between Lien and Lambda was reaching its climax. Lien stood frozen, convinced death was imminent. Is this the end? He thought. Fortunately, just as the thunderbolt was about to crush him, a hand of powerful energy intervened and stopped the strike. The one who saved him was none other than Dao Qingfeng. Lien sobbed in relief. Holy Sun! If you hadn't arrived, I'd be dead. That was terrifying. Dao Qingfeng replied calmly, You're not his match. Step back for now. The battlefield quieted. On the Kingwen Sect's side, one of the injured brothers struggled to rise from the debris. Seeing the destruction, he cursed, Damn it! Then he called out, panicked, Senior Brother Chairman. Taking advantage of Kingwen Sect's weakened state, Wan Wu Sect analyzed the situation. Lambda is the only one still standing. There's no need for the Holy Sun to act. Let's take him down together. With a fierce cry, the remaining warriors from Wan Wu Sect rose to their feet. Their goal was clear, to protect their chairman, even if it meant being human shields. Despite broken weapons and injuries, they charged ahead. But humans have their limits, especially when gravely injured. The brothers of Kingwen Sect were quickly overwhelmed again. Wan Wu Sect sneered, Humph! You think you can stop us? Just the lot of you. One of the Kingwen brothers was still trying to speak. Wan Wu leaned down mockingly. What's that? Something about protecting the chairman? Your voice is too soft. I can't hear anything. To his surprise, more brothers of the Kingwen Sect were rising, their spirits reignited. They cried out in unison, Protect the chairman! Protect the chairman! Protect the chairman! As they surged forward, Lambda stood in the middle of it all, looking around in awe and disbelief. The brothers of Kingwen Sect had formed a tight circle. We'll fight to the death, one of them shouted. We swear to hold the line. Though their bodies were battered and their swords broken, their will had fused into a single, unshakable resolve. This time we won't retreat, they cried. Let them witness the spirit of our Kingwen Sect. Stand firm. Advance. They turned to reassure their leader. Chairman, senior brother. Don't worry. Leave the rest to us. Lambda was deeply moved by their unity and loyalty. You all are truly. Before he could finish his sentence or even be touched for 3 seconds, the brothers cut him off. Even if we're useless, one said, we must at least let Chairman's senior brother die with some dignity. Another added, Next year, we'll burn plenty of incense at your grave. Lambda's emotional warmth instantly turned cold. How do you know I'm going to die? He could only sigh. Forget it. Let's see how it plays out. Just then, the curse system rang out with a God-tier choice mission. Mission 1. Defeat Dao Qingfeng. Reward. Waving Soul Spirit Elixir. Mission 2. Draw with Dao Qingfeng. Reward. High-grade Cultivation Elixir. Mission 3. Lose to Dao Qingfeng. Reward. 1 Ancient Divine Weapon. This time, Lambda wasn't chasing benefits. He smirked and said, System, don't underestimate me. He clicked Mission 1. There are things more important than rewards, he reminded himself. A gust of wind brushed past, and Lambda felt a pang of regret in his chest. Sigh. That ancient divine weapon. Showing off always comes with a cost, he muttered. Dao Qingfeng's voice pulled him back to reality. I admit you're strong, he said. But you still can't defeat me.